Okay, well, hopefully you can't hear my washing machine going in the background. I can't believe it is already July. It feels like April, even though April was a very busy month for me. And we are over halfway through the year officially. That is absolutely crazy. And I don't know how to feel about it. So the name of this tag, I think, is actually very fitting. Because you don't even want to know how many books I've gotten to this year and what my goal was. Even though, you know, goals, schmoles, no one really cares. But here we are. I also was supposed to film this yesterday, and it is now Sunday, which is already my day. I'm supposed to have a video out already, and that is not happening, obviously. It's already like 1 p.m. So this might go out tonight. We'll see by the time I get finished editing it. But yesterday I ended up having to go to see my extended family who I haven't seen in a long time, and I had to prioritize my workout over filming, and it was just a long day and I'm tired, but here I am. You're welcome. I'll shut up now. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Melanie, and today we are doing the mid-year book freakout tag. This is my second time doing it, so I'm excited. I have not watched my first one before this, so I am not comparing the two whatsoever, so we'll just see how this year is so far. So I used the normal list for this video of questions. I also just threw in random ones. I don't remember if I was inspired by other videos. I know kind of people are just pulling whatever they want into this tag. So I did some of that. I removed, I think, like one of the original questions just because it didn't really suit or I didn't really have an answer to it, so not as exciting. I think that was like the best fictional crush, and I just like, it didn't really have one to talk about, so that's that. But I do have quite a lot to get through. I have a huge pile of books next to me that I have to talk about, and I'm scared, and it's daunting, and so I'm really trying not to make this a super long video, but I will see if that is possible. I do not want to edit a 40-minute long video. So let's get into it now. The first question is, what is the best book of 2025 so far? And that is hands down, no surprise to anyone here if I can find it, is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. This book, yeah, not expected to love it as much as I did, and I'm obsessed. And I've talked about this multiple times before, so I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna try to go pretty fast through these, so sorry, not sorry. The best sequel of 2025, I think there's a tie. One's kind of more romantic-y, and then one's more like historical fiction fantasy. So the first one that I haven't even put out my May and June reads yet. To be fair, I didn't read that much, so I'm kind of glad that I ended up just comboing them, but I still haven't even filmed that, so we'll get there when we get there. But I read this one in May, and that is Rebel Witch, which is the sequel to Heartless Hunter, aka The Crimson Moth. I loved this. I was so worried about what the end of Heartless Hunter left us on, and this one was just so much better. Like, the writing was better, the plot was better, the characters were better, and I'm glad it didn't go the way I was expecting it to go at all, and so I had a lot of fun with this, and I read this very quickly. So this is one of my favorite sequels. And then, see, I didn't organize this pile of books at all, so this might take me a second. This is also, this duology is just so good. I really want people to read it so I can talk to them about it. But the other one is He Who Drowned the World, which is the sequel to She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan. And it's so good. If you like the Poppy War, this is better. 100%. This duology is so much better. It's definitely more like historical fiction. It's like set in an actual China. It's like the Mongolian Empire versus like the original Chinese Empire. I think like the Great Yuan, or maybe that's the Mongol. I don't remember the names of the empires, you know, but it's set in like the 1300s. So yeah, you can understand how it's a little complicated to follow slightly, but it's such a good story and the writing is so good and the characters are so good. And yes, so happy I finally finished this. I put it off for too long, but I'm glad I finished that duology and I felt very accomplished. And now I'm yapping more. So next one is my favorite 2025 new release. This one, I have no idea yet. I've read a few. I'm currently in the middle of Sky Daddy by Kate Folk, so I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. I'm very curious where it will end. I'm like halfway through. What else did I have? The Rose Bargain was really fun. I really had a great time with that. I don't know if I could call it my favorite so far. Another new release I read is Victorian Psycho. I really liked her writing and I had a lot of fun with this, but I had some issues with it as well. So they're all kind of the same. I feel like the same about them. And I think Rebel Witch by Kristin Ciccarelli was also released like early this year, I think. This is the only one I gave 5 stars so far. So maybe I'll have to say that, but I don't know. I don't really think I have a favorite yet, which is a little sad, but I'm not really reading that many new releases, so that's also probably why. Even though I have like 6 of them on my 25 to read in 2025, but I have not gotten to a single one. The one is on my TBR, The Unworthy, so I will get to that soon. Next, we have anticipated releases for the rest of 2025. A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping. I have been waiting so long. They have pushed this book so many times. I think it comes out this month. It better. If it gets pushed again, I will scream. I am so excited for this book. I have 2 friends currently borrowing my Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches book, and they're loving it. And so I really want to finally get to her second book. So yes, that is the top priority, I think. The next one is a surprise to me, and you'll find out why, but I am curious about Alchemized by Senlin Yu, who is the author of the Hermione fanfic Manacled. It is being converted into like traditional publishing, like a published book version, because obviously she can't do like the Harry Potter world in her published book, so we'll see what it's like. I'm very curious about it, though it is going to be over 1,000 pages, but I'm curious. That comes out in September, not December. Next one I like just found out about, and that is the sequel to Bride by Ali Hazelwood, and that is Mate. I think this is a companion novel. I don't think it's the same like main characters, if I'm not mistaken, but I think I just commented on someone else's video. I really wanted her to do more like fantasy-esque writing like she did for Bride, so I'm really excited she did another book in this world, because I had a blast with Bride. I thought it was super fun, and I love her humor in writing, so I'm excited for that one. And then lastly, A Theory in Dreaming, which is a sequel to A Study in Drowning, and I have already read the majority of Ava Reed's books. I think I'm just missing one in addition to the new release, A Theory in Dreaming. So it would be cool to kind of have read an author's entire collection of books. So we'll see what happens, but I'm very curious what the second book is about, because I thought that was going to be a standalone. So we will see. There's definitely a ton more, like Catabasis or Catabasis. How do you say it? Does anyone actually know? Like, I feel like she's said it multiple ways before, but I've heard mixed things, so I don't have like super high expectations anymore. And so we'll see when I get to it. I think that comes out in August or earlier. I'm not sure. But let's move on. Biggest disappointment of 2025, no shock to anyone, was this chunk of a book that made me so mad. Immortal, Sulin Tan. I was so excited. Because I missed the world of Daughter of the Moon Goddess and Heart of the Sun Warrior. I thought those were really fun. And this is one of the worst books I've read in a long time. And it's your 3rd book. 4th, technically, if you like include the Tales of the Celestial Kingdom, which is like the short story collection that accompanies Daughter of the Moon Goddess duology. And this was just so bad. I'm sorry. Yeah, I think I was nice when I like gave it its rating. And it sucks because the cover, look at this. Look at this special edition I have. It is just bad. And Sulintan, I expect more from you next time. Please learn from your mistakes. Okay, thanks, bye. Biggest surprise of the year. This one was hard too, because I had a lot of surprises, I think. First one I think might be The Night Guest by Hildur Knutsdatter. This one, because it just had such bad reviews on Goodreads, I was expecting to not like it, but I actually really enjoyed it, and I devoured it in like 2 hours, because it's a super short read, but highly recommend if you want like a quick thriller, mystery, kind of like weird, obviously weird. You're on my channel, what do you expect? Weird vibes. The next one I think was also a surprise was The Rose Bargain. I was not expecting to like this. Like a YA romantasy, usually not so great, but like honestly I think the YA romantasies have been doing so much better than the adult romantasies recently. Like this and Rebel Witch are both YA, and yeah, I just loved the world. Like there was like a love triangle, but it wasn't like an annoying kind of love triangle, which I hate, and so it like made sense, and like the twists at the end were fun. It was like darker than I was expecting, so I just had a lot of fun with this one. So that was surprising that because I wasn't honestly even planning on reading it. I think I was like gonna skip it, so I'm really glad I didn't. And then lastly, kind of weird but also not weird, I'm really surprised I loved Never Let Me Go as much as I did. I had seen the movie many times, and I loved the movie, and I've talked about this many times, but you're gonna have to deal with it. I like something about this book just like made me feel so good, even though it's like a really sad and depressing story, but his writing is so good, and so I'm really curious to see how I feel about it in other forms, like other books that he's written. So if I loved this and you've read a bunch of Kazuo Ishiguro, what do you think I should read next? I need help, because he has a bunch. So I was thinking maybe Clara and the Sun. I've heard good things about that one. I read The Remains of the Day in like high school a long time ago, so I might pick that up to read it again, because I don't remember anything about that, and I remember it kind of being boring, but now I'm a fully fledged human that can understand things better, so I'm hoping I would get something out of it now than I would have back then. But yeah, kind of surprised I fell in love with this book because I already knew the story, and it's pretty accurate to the movie, so yeah. Those are my surprises. Next is my favorite new author. I think it might have to be Elif Shafak, because I loved her writing in this book, and this was such a great book. Highly, highly, highly recommend. This book like kind of solidified that I love books or like literary fiction or historical fiction telling the life of an individual, like from the beginning to the end, and in interesting and unique ways. Like I really like that, and so this was really nice. Another one I just read is like that I'll talk about soon, but Elif Shafak, I want to read more from you. So also, if you have recommendations on something else to read from her, please tell me, because I don't know where to go next, because she also has a few books out already. So help me, I need help. And then another favorite author, which comes to no surprise either, is Mary Shelley. I mean, the writing in this is just so great, and she does have one more book, and I'll talk about that in a second. And I think she has some short stories that I also want to read, but I'm excited, and I'm glad she wrote something else, because if this was the only thing I could read from her, I'd be very sad. So yes, Mary Shelley is high up there now. And now, new favorite character, but going back, I'm picking it up again. Frankenstein's monster. Yeah, I'm shocked too. I don't want to spoil this book or like the structure of this book, so I'm like gonna be very cryptic about this, but the monster in this, so impeccably written and so surprising. I was not expecting this at all, and I think that's part of the reason I fell in love with this book. Yeah, poor guy. I don't know if that makes me sound crazy, but yeah, okay. Moving on from Frankenstein. A book that made me cry this year. I cried a couple times, but I think I cried the most, and it was on camera. You're welcome. And that is The Burning God. If you do want to see me cry, check out this reading vlog of the Poppy War. The spoilers are marked, so you can skip those if you don't want to get spoiled. But it hit me. I had to like hug my fiance crying because he had already read these books for a bit after, because I was just not expecting to feel the way I did about this ending. But yeah, this was a great series, though Poppy War was definitely the best book out of the three. Okay, a book that made you happy this year. And this is where I talk about another kind of fictional memoir book, and that is A Short Walk Through a Wide World. And I am so mad at myself, I still haven't taken this sticker off. Every time I've showed it, I'm like, oh, I should really take that off. And it's not even like hard to take off. I'm gonna do it now. Oh. Whoops, I did that too fast because I ripped it. That's okay. I got this 50% off. Yeah, I guess there's a reason I shouldn't have done that. But this book is by all means not really a happy book, but listening to someone's experience about like exploring the world and all the different types of people she encounters, and just her life in general, the things she's learned, was really nice. And I had a really great time with it. I don't think it was the best book I've ever read, but there were parts of this that I'm not going to spoil that I thought were really interesting. So, and there's a lot more magical realism than I was expecting. So yeah, I thought this was really nice and made me feel good. Even though it was pretty dark at times. So I don't know what that says about me, but you know me at this point. I like dark things. And then another one that made me happy was Howl's Moving Castle. I finally read it, and it's pretty different from the movie, so it was nice to kind of get a different story. And so that was fun. And yeah, I mean, it's just like, it makes everyone happy, right? Howl's Moving Castle. I think like I watched Emmy's mid-year freak out, and she also said this one made her happy. But also, like, who doesn't like Howl's Moving Castle at this point? I think the next year are questions I've added in, but who's keeping track at this point? I added a book that made you laugh because I had one of those this year, which doesn't always happen. I did lend this book to a friend, so I don't physically have it, but that is Galapagos by Kurt Vonnegut. And that book was so fun. It was everything I wanted it to be and more. I love weird narrators, and this one's like one of the weirdest ones. Like, if you like Hoyd and Tress and Yumi for Brandon Sanderson, or I assume he's in other books as well that I haven't read. If you like that narration style kind of thing, then I highly recommend checking out Galapagos. It is so fun. It's such a weird story. And I loved every second of it. And it's just, yeah, so weird. Basically, it's like told from a perspective like a million years in the future, from like 1985 or something. So you get like kind of what the future's like, but also like recounting the past. I don't know. I don't want to ruin it either for you, but it's just, I love Kurt Vonnegut. So I am excited to read more from him, and now I'm rambling again. So let's go to the next one. The creepiest book I've read, because we all know I love creepy books. And this hands down has to go to In the Miso Soup by Ryu Murakami. I've talked about this many times before, but yes, one of the most disturbing scenes I've ever read. I still don't know why I gave it 5 stars. I do. Like, the character development in this is great, but it's like so creepy. But if you want to hear about a like red light district in Japan tour guide who takes this creepy American out in Japan and weird things happen, this is for you. It's really short, and I think like in Barnes & Noble when I got it, it was like in the like recommendations for like if you like a book that's an A24 movie kind of thing, but disturbing. So just, yeah, that's all I'll say. Just be careful, tread lightly. I warn people like every time I mention this, but I'm like, I don't want you to think badly of me for really liking this book. On to DNFs. I shockingly have only DNF'd one book, and that was in January, and I think we all know which one that was. That is Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. I finally gave in and looked up what the ending is, and I wasn't necessarily exactly expecting it, but I also wasn't like that far into it. Or did I? I guess I did get pretty far. I guess I got like halfway through, but honestly not worth it to me. So I'm very glad I DNF'd it, and I know it's a fave for a lot of people, but that's okay. Not mad about it. But yeah, only one DNF so far this year. I think that's crazy. Like, I probably should have DNF'd Immortal because it was bad, but I was determined to finish that one because it was like such a highly anticipated release. So I felt like I should, but I shouldn't have, honestly. Next one is The Most Beautiful Book You Bought This Year. I am going to do a non-special edition books just because I have so many of them and they're all pretty and it'd be hard to pick my favorite, and you've seen all of them or the majority of them already. So I think it's a tie between 3 recent books I bought. Sleepy Hollow. I love just kind of the atmosphere of this book and the illustration style. I think it's really pretty, and here's like the back also. Yeah, it makes me want to read it really bad. Now this one is also Never Whistle at Night. It's like an anthology, and I love the bright colors against the black background, and it looks very weird but also like happy, but I know it's like all horror, so I kind of love that they did the cover like this. And then lastly, this is just beautiful because it's like art, and that is Inferno by Dante, and I just think this cover is beautiful and I want to display it somewhere after I read it. So that's the best I can come up with at the moment. I haven't bought that many books this year. You saw I did 2 book hauls maybe. That's that. My brain is like slowing down majorly right now, so we'll see how I get through the rest, but I think I have 3 more questions. Okay, how has my reading taste changed over the past 6 months? This is more of a reflection thing I wanted to do for myself because I didn't do my year anniversary video. I did it in post form, and I don't think that's even a question in that, which is surprising, but I wanted to kind of look back at my reading taste and how I've evolved this year, and I think I've definitely leaned a lot more towards literary fiction than I have in the past. I used to be a lot more fantasy heavy, but I have been loving the literary fiction I've been reading, and there's something about lit fic authors and how they write and like how they add unique elements to their writing for it to like stand out that really makes me feel something more so than like fantasy does. Fantasy makes me feel things in other ways, more like escapism and kind of like learning about new worlds. Like that's obviously a very interesting part and why I love fantasy, but there's something about like everyday life that like good authors are really good at capturing, and the relatability, even if it's not a relatable situation, like just how interesting people's lives can be or how interesting they themselves can be. And so yeah, I've been really liking it, but I'm not gonna just read only lit fic now. I still want to read more fantasy and like sci-fi and all that fun stuff, but I still have yet really to dive back into romance. I don't know what's stopping me. I don't know, I think it's just contemporary romance. Like I'm in a like really great healthy relationship, so like I feel like things will annoy me a lot more than when in the past when I was like eternally single, which is the new term I'm using for better late than single. It's like a new Korean dating show that I am in love with, so I highly recommend. It's on Netflix. But prior to this, I had never been in a relationship, so I kind of lived vicariously through those romance books, and so that was kind of that's why I really enjoyed them. And so I have yet to like really find something that has brought me into the like contemporary romance world yet. And surprisingly, I've read a lot of fun romantasy this year. Not like a lot, but more so than I have in the past, I would say. And I do want to continue down that road. I'm hoping more fun romantasy actually gets released that's not like, I hate to like call out book talk, but like not catered to book talk in like the trope industry. And so yeah, I think that will be fun, hopefully. And then in generally, I've noticed that I think I'm pretty good judge of whether I will like a book or not, based on like how I hear other people talk about them and like the premise of the books. Because I really don't think I've steered myself wrong recently, other than just expectations from authors like Sue Lin Tan or other things, or like Carlos Ruiz Zafón. Like that's kind of where I've fallen flat. But in terms of like the ones I've picked up on a whim, because I was like, that sounds interesting, like I've actually really enjoyed, and so I'm proud of myself, and I feel like I can trust myself moving forward, so that's a good feeling. Next channel. Oh, I need to stretch out. Second to last question is, how has my booktube channel changed over the past 6 months? This is also a question that I probably would have done in my anniversary video that I didn't do, but I just kind of more reflection for myself mainly. And I think generally I've edited my dialogue a lot less, and I'm happy with that one. It shortens my editing time a lot more because that is the majority of what I edit, and I hate editing dialogue. That is my least favorite thing. I like doing like fun like vlogging edits, you know, but I hate dialogue edits. So I think I've been better at thinking off the top of my head, not constantly doing and even though I still do that obviously. So I think I leave a little more in just because that's how I talk, and I'm not trying to not be myself, or just, I think I'm learning to be okay with not sounding perfect in how I describe things, or because I'm thinking off the top of my head. I don't script out anything. I have notes I go off of just to remember things, but I have tried in the past to script out my videos, and it makes it so much worse because I'm so worried I'm gonna forget something, and it makes the editing longer because I like stumble over my words way more when I do that, so I have to repeat things over and over again. And so yeah, my videos might be less tailored and like more imperfect or whatever. I hate that word, but I've tried to embrace more of like my mistakes and weirdness because that's just, you know, how I am in normal life. So yeah, I hope you've been enjoying it and not getting annoyed by my less is more editing style. And I'm just, yeah, trying not to take things too seriously in terms of like the videos I put out there. I just want it to be fun and enjoy the process. And if I don't always make sense, that's okay. People will generally get the gist of it, hopefully. So yeah, that's how I feel about that. And then lastly, what I want to read before the end of the year. So I do have 16 books left on my 25 to read in 2025 list. And I'll probably do a separate video on that, like where I am on that list, and then also where I'm at in the diversity book bingo from Ellen Made Book Club, and also probably my Read Around the World challenge, because I've read a few of those this year. But ones I am super excited to get to this year that are not on those lists or on my TBRs at the moment is first The Last Man by Mary Shelley. This is her second and I think only second book. I think she only has the 2, but why am I holding the sticker? I am excited to get to this and I want to read it this year. And then next one is the second book to the Southern Reach series, and I read Annihilation in January, and I'm worried I'm gonna forget too much, so I really should pick up the second book. I loved it, so I'm really curious, except for like the first book was like 200 pages and this is a lot longer. It's like 340. I think it's not like super long, and it's like a short book, but it's longer than what I was expecting it to be. And I think they progressively get longer, annoyingly. I hate when they do that. Why? I know there's more things revealed. I get it. But yes, I really want to get to this book. And then another sequel I want to get to is The Veiled Throne by Ken Liu. This is the third book in the Dandelion Dynasty series. These books are long. I read 2 of them last year. Grace of Kings I read physically, and then I did Wall of Storms via audiobook when I was in Switzerland, and then later at home. I think I'm gonna do the audiobook just because they're too long and heavy for me to hold physically, and I really enjoyed the narrator for it, and it's the same narrator for all 4. So, and I want to get through this series because I really love it. It's just, they're just so long. It's like a 38-hour audiobook, so I just need to like take my time, like take a few months to like get through it. So I do want to read that one, and then I'll read the 4th one next year probably, just because it's, I think, the longest out of all the 4. So I do really want to finish the 3rd book this year though. And then lastly, this is one that I like keep forgetting about because it's on my fiance's shelves, and that is The Fisherman by John Langan. This is a horror book, and Kaylin has actually read this already and really liked it, and he said I would really like it too, so I want to read more horror. I don't have a lot of horror on my TBR right now, so definitely gonna use some of his because he reads more horror than I have, but secretly he's not reading anything right now, so it's not helpful. I need him to read more books again so he can tell me how he feels about them before I read them. But yeah, I don't know if that's gonna happen anytime soon. And then the newer release that I just talked about in my book haul, I think, is Migrations. I'm even more excited to get to this now that like I think Lauren at Love Lauren really liked Wild Dark Shore from this author, and I've heard really great things about Wild Dark Shore, and that kind of makes me excited to read this one. And honestly, I like didn't even read the premise before I bought it, and reading it in that video I was like, this sounds really interesting. So yeah, I'm very excited to get to this one. And then I still have a whole classics TBR I have to get through and film, so that is to come as well. But that wraps up my mid-year freakout tag. I hope you enjoyed it. I am a little overwhelmed right now with all of the books around me, and it'll be okay. It'll be okay. And I've been really slow to read. I think I read like 4 books in June. And I also totally forgot to say how many books I've read so far this year. Let me pull that up. I have read 35 books, and I've DNF'd 1 book, so 36. I'm currently in the middle of 4 books, 3 of them being short story collections, and 1 of them being Sky Daddy. So I am pretty behind. My goal, I mean, I had like a reading goal of like read 100 books if you can. That is clearly not going to happen, but I'm hoping to pick up my pace reading. I don't know, I've been in like a weird zone where I just like haven't really wanted to read as much. We'll see. I'm hoping like mood reading this summer will help a lot, and the fall I'll probably do that too. But yeah, I don't think I will reach 100 books. I think I got to 89 last year, but yeah, I'm definitely, the cadence I'm reading this year is a lot slower than last year, so I don't expect to get there, but I don't really care, but you might. So giving you the update, 36 books, not too shabby if I do say so myself. So on that note, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day. Bye.